China's massive military parade. On September 2nd, 2025, China held its largest ever military parade in Beijing to mark 80 years since Japan's World War II defeat. Thousands of troops, tanks, and advanced missiles were showcased. Leaders like Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un attended, highlighting China's growing bloc against the West. The cause was Beijing's push to project military power and leadership, while the effect is heightened global tension, with Western nations seeing it as a direct challenge to U.S. influence and the existing world order. Nepal political crisis and social media ban protests. In early September 2025, Nepal fell into turmoil after the government banned Facebook, WhatsApp, and other social media platforms, claiming security concerns. The move ignited massive protests, during which angry crowds even set fire to the parliament building. The cause was the state's attempt to silence dissent, while the effect was political collapse. The prime minister resigned, leaving Nepal unstable and leaderless. Devastating earthquake in Afghanistan. On September 7th, 2025, eastern Afghanistan was struck by a series of powerful earthquakes that killed over 2,200 people and displaced thousands. Entire villages collapsed, worsening an already fragile humanitarian situation. The cause was seismic activity along Afghanistan's fault lines, while the effect is a deepening crisis, mass homelessness, urgent need for aid, and fears of further instability in a country already struggling with poverty and conflict. Bolsonaro sentenced in Brazil. On September 5, 2025, former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro was sentenced to more than 27 years in prison for his role in orchestrating a coup attempt following his loss in the 2022 election. The verdict shocked the nation, triggering widespread discussions about political accountability and the rule of law. It intensified Brazil's already sharp political divisions, raised fears about potential unrest among his supporters, and put the country's democratic institutions under the global spotlight. U.S. economy showing signs of strain. In early September 2025, the U.S. economy showed clear signs of strain as jobless claims rose sharply and inflation ticked up, driven by higher food and housing costs. Concerns about interest rates and consumer spending created uncertainty in markets. Businesses faced slowing demand, investors grew cautious, and economists warned of potential ripple effects on growth, signaling that the world's largest economy might be entering a period of financial instability. Trade and tariffs developments. In early September 2025, global trade tensions escalated as U.S. President Donald Trump proposed that the European Union impose 100% tariffs on India and China to curb their oil purchases from Russia. Meanwhile, discussions continued over UK-EU and UK-China trade relations, affecting businesses already grappling with weaker sales. These developments rattled markets, stirred diplomatic friction, and created uncertainty for companies relying on international supply chains, highlighting the fragile state of global trade. OPEC Plus to raise oil output. In early September 2025, OPEC Plus announced a modest increase in oil production starting next month, aiming to balance global supply and demand. The decision came amid rising energy prices and growing concerns about shortages in key markets. Oil exporting nations welcomed the move for increased revenue, while importing countries and markets reacted cautiously, anticipating shifts in fuel costs, inflation, and potential impacts on economic growth worldwide. France's government under pressure. In early September 2025, France's government faced mounting pressure as Prime Minister François Bayrou confronted a confidence vote following proposed large budget cuts. Widespread protests erupted across major cities, fueled by public dissatisfaction over rising living costs and economic reforms. Political uncertainty grew, stirring debates within parliament, unsettling financial markets, and raising questions about the stability and future direction of the French administration. Israeli strike on Hamas leadership in Qatar. On September 6, 2025, Israel carried out a targeted strike against Hamas leadership in Doha, Qatar. Several senior figures were reportedly present, though most survived, while a few, including a Qatari security officer, were killed. The attack heightened tensions in the Middle East, drawing international attention and condemnation. Regional security concerns intensified, diplomatic relations were strained, and fears of potential escalation between Israel and Hamas loomed over neighboring countries. Charlie Kirk killed in Utah. On September 8, 2025, conservative activist Charlie Kirk was assassinated during an event at Utah Valley University. Authorities released images of a person of interest and recovered the suspected weapon. The shocking incident sent ripples through U.S. political circles, igniting debates over security at public events, raising fears among supporters, and drawing widespread media attention both nationally and internationally. Poland invokes NATO Article 4 after drone incursions. In early September 2025, Poland reported multiple Russian drones entering its airspace and responded by invoking Article 4 of the NATO treaty, which called for consultations among member states when a country's security is threatened. The move escalated tensions in Eastern Europe, prompted urgent diplomatic discussions, and highlighted concerns about regional security. NATO allies increased monitoring and readiness, while the incident intensified scrutiny of Russia's military activities near Allied borders. Possible return of La Nina conditions. In early September 2025, the World Meteorological Organization, WMO, reported that La Nina conditions might return, affecting global weather patterns. Scientists warned of increased risks of floods, droughts, and extreme weather events across different regions. Governments and agricultural sectors began preparing for potential disruptions to crops, water supply, and food security, while markets and communities worldwide brace for the broader environmental and economic impacts of shifting climate conditions.